Hawi for this opportunity. Sorry, I have a slight cold.
Recording in progress.
You'll be able to hear me clearly. So, good morning, everyone. So let me take this opportunity to welcome all of you to the 19th edition of the SEVA Internet Day. So, as the STR said, my name is Tarus. I'm the president of ISOC Kenya chapter. So, looking at the program, we have a section for introduction. So let me take this opportunity to introduce the officials of ISOC Kenya, and also possibly the moderator of the day, if she will have logged in. So I'll start by introducing the officials of ISOC Kenya present, and I'll start with myself. As I said, I'm Tarus. I'm the current president. Then we have with us here the Secretary General, Hawi Rapudo. Possibly when I mention your name, you can put on your video and you can wave to the participants.
Thank you. Welcome.
So that's Hawi, the Secretary General. We also have, I don't know whether Okomollo, the Treasurer, has arrived. Okay, has not
yet.
In.
Not yet.
We also have the Deputy President, Alphonse Olwen. He has also not logged in. He's here to join. We also have the chairman of the. We also have the trustees. We have the trustees. Trustee number 1 is Edna Karicho. I think is also here to join in. We also have trustee Irene Misoi. I've also not seen her. I think is here to join. We also have Daniel Otieno, another trustee. I think is also here to join. And we also have chairman of standing committees, and I can see Albert Migowa is with us, the chairman of membership and outreach committee. We also have Ervin Lumumba, who is the chairman of Communications, the chairman of Public Relations and Communications Committee. I think he's also here to join. We also have Dr. Omollo, is also here to join us, the chairman of Research and Research Committee. I can see also our former president, Athena Morgan, is here with us and is also one of the presenters. So welcome. So I also appreciate all the participants who have joined us today for this important event. And for the presenters, we'll introduce them later as they make their presentations. So feel welcomed. All of you are welcome to this important event. And looking at the program, is that the objective of this webinar is basically to bring together the key community stakeholders to address the issues of SEVA Internet Day, SEVA Internet, and digital smart villages. So the presenters that are here with us, the participants, will share in this seminar the experiences on SEVA Internet and also best practices with the various actors and partners. So before I hand over to the moderator, let me give some opening remarks. Then from there, we'll continue with the other activities in the program. So because my internet is not so stable, it will allow me to give my remarks without the video. So let me once again welcome all of you to this year's SEVA Internet Day webinar. But first, let me explain who we are as the Internet Society, the purpose of those who are not members of ISOC. So the Internet Society is a global non-profit making organization working for a globally open, secure, and trustworthy internet for everyone. ISOC Kenya chapter, therefore, is an affiliate of ISOC Global. Membership to Internet Society is free and open to anybody. You can join our local chapter, ISOC Kenya, by visiting the website of the Internet Society. And back to the business of the day. Today, we are observing the Safer Internet Day. This webinar is hosted by ISOC Kenya in collaboration with Kijiji Yeetu. And Hawi is one of the directors, Kijiji Yeetu. So in this webinar, we will listen to the presentations from various experts in the area of safer internet. Our presenters will be sensitizing us with online safety tips on how to be safe online, ranging from basic issues like using strong passwords, keeping your personal information safe, identifying internet fraud and scam messages, checking your privacy settings, etc. So today's webinar is therefore an opportunity for us, the internet community, to empower ourselves and communities on safety of the internet. Safer Internet Day is an annual event which aims to promote safe, responsible, and positive use of internet technology. Safer Internet Day is observed every year on the second day of the second week of February. This year, Safer Internet Day was celebrated yesterday on 8th February 2022 in approximately 200 countries across all continents. But due to logistical issues, we are observing it a day later here in Kenya. So this year, the theme of the Safer Internet Day is Together for a Better Internet. And this is a rallying call to all stakeholders to join together to make the internet a safer and better place for all, especially for children and young people. Safer Internet Day promotes a safer and more responsible use of online technology by children and young people around the world. It raises awareness on emerging online issues and current concerns such as cyberbullying, as well as raise awareness about the best internet practices in order to protect our safety online. As you are aware, the internet has become part of the very fabric of our everyday life. Internet is one of the technologies that has transformed the world, and it has changed how we live and work. Internet technology and social media enable young people to access educational resources, make social connections, build relationships, and demonstrate creativity. It is a powerful tool with enormous opportunities for learning, enhancing skills, and acquiring new abilities and knowledge. However, internet technology comes with challenges of online internet abuse. There are issues such as cyberbullying, misinformation, and online manipulation, as well as serious and organized crimes online. So the aim of Safer Internet Day is to advocate for a safer and better internet for everyone, children and adults alike. To address issues such as cyberbullying, there is need for collaboration between all actors, such as young people themselves, schools, parents, communities, and the whole society. The scope of cyberbullying will be less significant if all stakeholders step up and act responsibly. So in this Safer Internet Day, therefore, we are calling on everyone to play it safe and fair online. Let's campaign to make the internet a safer place for everyone. Everyone has a role to play in creating and maintaining a better online world. The internet has no place for online abuse, and all of us do our part to make life online enjoyable by being kind and respectful to each other. It is important that we respect the wishes, preferences, and privacy of others online. Safer Internet Day is a great chance to involve all stakeholders to protect the children online and put a spotlight on online vices such as cyberbullying. We are aware that the Kenyan government is determined to act so that we can all enjoy the huge benefits of digital technology without our children and other vulnerable individuals being put at risk of serious harm. Among the legislations that address internet abuse in Kenya include the Computer Misuse and Cybercrimes Act of 2018, Data Protection Act of 2019, and Kenya Information and Communications Act of 1998, among others. So ISOC Kenya chapter, therefore, remains a significant stakeholder and partner in the governance and advocacy for growth of the internet in Kenya. As we advocate for growth of internet, we also advocate for safer and secure internet. So let me wish everyone a happy Safer Internet Day, and let's all play it fair online. So thank you very much, and God bless you. So let me hand over back to our moderator, and because our moderator has not joined in, I'll hand over the program back to our Secretary General, Rapudo, to guide us on the next activities in this webinar. Thank you.
Thank you, Mr. President, Dr. Tarus, for those kind of remarks. And then it's very instrumental because what you've just put out is the basis of why we are gathered here today. So I believe everybody that is in this room, just try and whatever you can use, even just shake something or even just carry up your hand and thank the president for those kind of remarks. It's done quite well, and we can wave to you, whatever you can use. Even if you have something, you can even shout just for a minute so that you can know that the president can know that it's been acknowledged by members. So we acknowledge the president wherever he is. Thank you so much. So basically we are going to the program, and I welcome each and every person that is able to join us. Looking at, I'll just share the screen so that we're able to see what we are talking about here. So in the screen here today, I'm just trying to open my, okay. Trying to open our, just 1 minute. I'm trying to share my screen so that we can be able to see what you are, okay, it's here. So this, the president has already talked about this. This is the background. I hope everybody is able to see. Just acknowledge to me if you're able to see. You can, okay, you can be able to see. He has talked about the introduction. This is the concept note. We are talking about a collaborative effort between ISOC Kenya and the Kijiji Yeetu. And we're talking about the day was celebrated yesterday. So we are having a post Safer Internet Day event, which is on today. The theme is about Together for Better Internet. That's what we are talking about here. And you know, in the process of this internet society, all over the world has been trying to look at issues of internet. We have objective here we're talking about. One of the objectives to try and bring all the stakeholders together in this day so that we can talk about the Safer Internet Day, which is a core component of the smart villages. So if we're looking at that, we're talking about having a platform which you're going to talk today, sharing our experiences, taking stock of where we are in terms of some of the presentations that are going to be. So going down, we have an, forget about the outcome, let's go to the program. The program, we've already had the presentation from the president. Then we are going to have now Athena, Morgan, our former president, will be able to take the presentation. Then from Athena, Morgan, we are going to have Armstrong Rapudo, the research lead from Kijiji Yeetu. Then we'll have Enock, Chiteri, who I believe is also here. Then we have Megan Kathure, who is also here, will be able to take us through our presentation. By that time, you hope, if Dr. Richard will not be able to have joined us, then we'll have Albert, Migowa, then Dr. Richard, and then Joel Okomoli will be closing up for these presentations. Then I believe everybody will have 20 minutes because we're trying to be to respect time so that we can have plenary discussion. So for that, that's what we have for now. So let me stop sharing for now so that we can give the minutes now for Athena Morgan, who can take over and if she wants to do a PowerPoint presentation, she can tell me, or she wants just to talk.
Good morning, Hawi.
Thank you, Athena. Morning to you.
Thank you very much for this opportunity. I'll be doing a small PowerPoint slide.
So let me give you the host so that you can we can now do the presentation. So okay, now you have the host. Okay, that okay?
Yes. I hope you can see my screen.
We are trying to see it. Yes, we are seeing it. Okay. I hope everybody's seeing. Over to you, Athena. Thank you.
Thank you so much, Hawi. I was wondering why I'm the first person to speak. I don't know if it's because my name starts with letter A. Anyway, thank you everyone for joining us today. My name is Athena Morgan. I am a lawyer by profession. I do legal tech consultancy. I'm a director at DigiSpace Safety Legal Tech Consultancy. I also facilitate the Child Online Protection Program with AFRALTI and Communications Authority. And I do a bit of freelance consultancy with some international organizations like ICMEC and Equality Now. It's a pleasure to be here today. And as you can see, my topic for today is online safety soft skills. And the question I get most of the time is, as a lawyer, why are you not focusing on the laws? You know, there are so many laws that make people, that criminalize acts online and offline and penalize and say what should and should not be done. And the main reason for this, or my motivation for going into consultancy and mainly focusing on the soft skills, is because whether there is this, I am meeting people because there's some disturbance. So, sorry, as I was saying is the laws are there. The laws state what should and should not be done. But the problem is we play catch up most of the time. So you wait for something to go wrong so that you can say, the law protects me in one area or another, or I can just use the law to get remedied for the action that has taken place. But when you continuously interact with the online platform, you will realize that even if you get some sort of remedy from the legal field or the legal arena, it's not enough to remedy the damage that has been done. And that is why soft skills are very important. And I hope we can all agree on that right now. Don't wait for the law to give you a recourse. Prevent it before it happens, hence why you should protect yourself and those you care about online. So a rough summary, although our president has already talked about it, we know that Kenya is the Silicon Valley of East Africa, and there is a very fast intake of technology. Actually, I think even in the whole of Africa, other than South Africa, Kenya is among the leading countries in technology uptake. And then we have two groups of people on it. We have the adults and we have the young ones. The adults are mainly referred to, the ones who I think 30, 35 and above, are referred to as the digital immigrants, meaning they were not born with technology. They have come to learn about technology. But the young ones, the ones who are even 4 or 5 years right now, they're called the digital natives because they have been born into technology. They know how to set your phone and any other device faster and better than you would as an older person in the society. And we also know that the world has become a global village because of technology and internet connectivity, meaning that there are different kinds of people online. Some have values and traditions that we believe in, and others don't. Hence, we should be very careful when handling the online platform. I like starting by saying that the human factor is always the weak link. This is because it has a very strong firewall in your company. You may have very strong or stringent security measures, but as long as you're visiting the wrong sites, as long as you're oversharing information, you will still end up compromising the integrity of your organization, the integrity of yourself and personal data, and even that of your children and close people or those that you relate with daily. So as much as technology can give us a platform to be able to secure our devices and our networks, if the person interacting with this technology doesn't necessarily to follow these guidelines, if they are not aware, then still the technology will be compromised and one will be subjected to any form of abuse or threat online. So for you, what does safety mean to you? For a child, safety means the ability to access child-friendly content online most of the time. And for a child, I probably mean someone below the age of 10. So they're able to play their games safely without getting pop-ups that probably redirect them to violence or such kinds of things that may cause psychological trauma. For students and their older children, the main issue in safety is to be able to browse safely. And safe browsing is because this is the age where they need to know more. They want to get more content. They want to answer the why questions in the world. Why do I feel like this? Why do I look like this? Why does the sun go around the earth or the earth around the sun, you know? So answering questions, they need safe and secure browsing. And also while they're interacting with others of the same age group on the online platform, they need to have wisdom on the information that they are sharing. So for a student, it's all about safe browsing and wisdom in information sharing. And this wisdom, where do they get it from? They get it from the parent, the person who introduced them to technology, the guardian, the teacher, the school. So everyone has a responsibility in guiding the children and the students when it comes to online safety. And for us as an adult, what does safety mean to you? And I said everything because basically it's everything. I play games on my phone. Sometimes I do research. Sometimes I visit scholarships. I try to connect with people online. I share personal information. And I need all this to be safe. I need to be able to navigate, and you need to be able to navigate the online platform in a safe and secure manner, knowing that everything that you are taking in and sharing is safe and its integrity is maintained. But there's also the issue of accessibility. And the question would be, what is accessibility? And that is the ability of an individual, regardless of whatever challenges they may be facing, to safely access technology. So let me give you an example. If a blind person or a person with visual impairment wants to access the internet, how would they do it? And I'd like us to, even as ISOC, to start thinking about accessible technologies, even as we look at internet for being for everyone. Because if a person is impaired has a mobile phone, but the mobile phone doesn't have software on the phone, this adult may want to go to an M-Pesa shop to do a transaction. But since they cannot see the numbers on their screens, what will they do? Anyone? I'm kind of a trainer teacher, so I like talking in class and asking people to participate. So if a person is visually impaired, but the phone does not, let's say it's a mulika mwizi, so it doesn't have the talkback features, and they might not be able to turn it on, and they need to withdraw money. So they go to an M-Pesa shop. What would they do? How would they do the transaction? Anyone would like to give it a try?
You can join in, please. You can join in.
Felix, Felix here talking.
Yes.
Hello.
Yes, Felix, I can hear you.
what they normally do, they normally hand over the phone to the M-Pesa attendant, so the attendant is the one who does the transaction on their behalf.
Exactly. That means they give out their PIN, right?
Yes, they give out their PIN.
Exactly. And that is already a breach of very private and confidential information. So who's to say that if this person, let's say Athena, is visually impaired, and I give the M-Pesa lady my phone and I tell her my PIN is 1040, and I tell her, please withdraw for me 500 shillings. Who's to tell that the person won't withdraw 700 and keep the 200 to herself? Or she would use that information in the near future when probably they think nimeomoka, and when I go there, they used to over-transact. Well, the point is, the technology was not accessible, so it compromised the private information of the person who has a certain form of disability. And that's why I said accessibility is also very important, because people with disability within society still play a very critical role, and therefore their private information should be private. And all developing technologies, including websites and portals and online platforms, should all be accessible to enable these people to protect their information, first of all, and also to have a way of knowing what is going on. For example, if there was a deaf person in this class today, would they be able to follow what we are doing? Because as much as I have pointers on my slide, I am explaining more on the pointers, but there are no captions and there's no sign language interpreter. What happens? It means they're locked out, therefore they don't get the necessary information that is needed to keep them safe. So basically, safety is for everyone. It can mean different things to different people, and we all have a role to play. As I move forward, because it's a very broad topic, these are basic steps. I didn't want to dwell much on this because we probably know all about it. Most of us are techies. We have strong passwords, two-step verification, avoiding open Wi-Fi, keeping softwares updated. You know all about this. That's why I didn't pay too much attention on this. And I'm also looking at my time. I already used 10 minutes. Okay. So what are some of the cyber threats that directly affect an individual? Cyberbullying, grooming, sextortion, and identity theft. Someone to post on the chat what they think grooming is and what sextortion is in their own opinion. Just post it on the text on the chat and I will read it out as I proceed. So cyberbullying, most people used to say that bullying happens only to children, but that is not the case. We've had cases of celebrities, cases of politicians, and even the common mwananchi who cannot even, we wouldn't bother to know about it because they're probably not important enough. We know that everyone has faced bullying at one point or another. So what do you do when you're bullied, or when someone is body shaming you because probably you look too big or your ideas seem a bit different? Most of the time, actually, most adults today fall into depression because of bullying and online harassment. And people also have this fear of missing out, both adults and children. Actually, these threats they cut across board. So I'll just try and give a general summary. And since everyone is in a certain page or everyone is posting a certain thing, you think that you also have to be part of it. And maybe when you go there, you give an opinion that may not be expected, or someone just has it for you, and they end up name calling, insulting, and posting good remarks about you. And that's a form of bullying that happens both to children and to adults on the internet platform. The only thing is you don't know that you can actually leave groups. You can unfriend people who are harassing you online. And you don't have to be in everything that everyone is in, or you don't have to fit in. After all, everyone is a unique individual, and you can always protect yourself from some of these threats if you make smart choices online. But if it happens, at one point or another it will happen, it is always advisable to get help. If it's life-threatening, contact the police. If it is mentally disturbing, you can go for counseling. And people see therapy as something that is wrong in the society, but in today's day and age technology era, everyone needs therapy. So if something happens to you on the online platform, you should feel comfortable enough to seek assistance. Anyone who knows what grooming is? Okay, I will give a rough example. Let's say I am a single mom. I am having trouble with raising my child, working, school fees, and all other home responsibilities. And then I am ranting about it on Facebook or any other social media site. I just keep talking about it. And probably there is this guy who is probably a manipulator on the online platform, and he befriends me. And he starts consoling me, comforting me, telling me how it happens, and just sweet talking and warming me up to the idea that I will get through it eventually. And sometimes he even offers to help and all that. And we get cozy, and I'm like, okay, this guy may be actually someone who has my best intention at heart. So we start maybe even some kind of online relationship. We share images and stuff like that. And we know as adults, these things happen, not just to children. Adults have fallen prey to this a lot of times. And so it comes to a point where, so maybe he knows I work for the government, if I did work for the government, and maybe, so we've shared information, we've shared some pictures that may be compromising. And then one day now the guy decides to cash in and is like, I sent you money, you sent me this, and now I need you to get me information about a particular individual within your department in the Ministry of Gender, maybe let's say that's where I work. And if I refuse to get them what information they want now, they would be like, if you don't, we're gonna release your images. Or if you don't, we know where you live, we'll come and take your child, and issues like that. And it comes from a relationship perspective where the relationship becomes manipulative. And that is what we call grooming. So I have been warmed up to be used by this other person on the online platform just because they knew my weakness and they were able to figure out that I had, and now they're using that information. Or if I worked for a tech company, then like, you don't give us the security credentials, we're going to release your photos to everyone in your department. Obviously, that would be really bad for me. So in most instances, individuals who find themselves in that position end up trading company information in order to protect themselves. And you can't tell for how long this would go on or the damage that will eventually occur to the company. So you see, again, the human factor is the weak link. So grooming can also lead to sextortion, and that is extortion using sexual content, whereby if you shared sexual pictures or anything that could be sexually compromising, it would be used as a means of extortion. Still happens to adults and to children. And finally, identity theft, we all know about it, assumingly. And that happens mostly when you overshare information. Okay, leave the hacking part alone first, which is more like the technical part. But if you're constantly posting about your job, down to the letter, which department you work in, under which boss, the salary you get probably, and even sometimes you post your badge number to your work of your workplace. If you end up sharing too much information about yourself, about your job on the online platform, it is very easy for someone with malicious intention to take this information and create a new identity and use it to commit crime. So then you don't have to share everything about yourself, about your job, especially personal information, or even about your child, because not only would it lead to identity theft, but it can also be an avenue for crime by people who follow you, because not everyone who follows you is genuinely your friend. I'm brushing through. So if you are in any kind of online trouble, what do? You report. Whom do you report to? You can report to the social media platform if it's bullying mainly that's occurring, harassment, or sexual exploitation or sexually explicit images that are being shared. All social media platforms have a reporting platform. If it is life-threatening or threatening your safety or someone that you know or someone who's close to you, it is always important to report to the law enforcement. That's the police or the DCI cyber crime unit. They have a specialized unit that deals with the same. also report to the IT department in case you have clicked on a site that was not secure, and you can see funny things happening on your screen, or if you have overshared information. It is always good to let the IT department of the organization that you're working with know, so that they may prevent more damage from happening to the entire company system. And for children, especially child sexual exploitation, we have the Internet Watch Foundation reporting portal. I will share the link with you on the chat after this. It helps you report anonymously any form of child sexual exploitation or sexual images that may be going on, taking rounds online. We know they have happened a lot. And the portal notifies the DCI who are able to investigate the case, and you can do it anonymously. So reporting is also one of the best options that you have. My last subtopic, this topic is so good, I've tried to summarize it. Addiction, that is an inability to function normally in the absence of technology. So this is technology addiction. How do you know if you're addicted to technology? I am sure most of us have some form of addiction. Do you eat, sleep, drink technology? Are you able to pay attention to your co-workers, to your children, to the members of your family? Or you're constantly talking to them, but you're just typing. So you're like, someone's like, Daddy, I have homework. What they're talking to you, but you're very busy on your phone. You're not even paying attention to what they're saying. So when they finish and they're looking at you like, what did you say? And the cycle continues on and on. Are you able to sit down and have supper and have a decent conversation with the members of your family without people being constantly on the phone? We're told nowadays cousins get-togethers are just competition to see who has better phones, because even when you're in a get-together, everyone just has a mobile device and no one is talking to the other. You'd find even someone texting someone who's across the chair to them and they're laughing, and you're wondering, why don't you just talk it out loud? So addiction is the inability to function normally. Can you go for an hour without your phone? Can you take a break from your device? Can you focus on an activity that doesn't require a technology device and not feel empty? If you can't, you may be registering signs of addiction. Are you moody? Are you grumpy? Are you unreasonable? Are you aggressive when you're away from technology, when you're away from TV, when you're away from a movie, and you're away from your phone? That is addiction. So it cuts across both adults and children. And it's very unfortunately that there was a report I was reading that children under 7 years have been rated as the most tech addicted population. Because we buy our children phones, we buy them tablets, we don't set limits on how much time they're supposed to use on their devices. So they're constantly on the device. So the day you tell them to put the device aside and do a chore is the day you will realize how much hooked they are to the device, because probably they wouldn't do the chore as required, or they would do it, but in a very bad mode. You wouldn't be able to talk to them. They would be rude, they would be aggressive, and they would be moody. So if you have children and they're using technology, please set limits. 2 hours a day. A child who's below 7 doesn't need to use technology for more than that. They should go out and play. When they finish with their game, when they finish with their homework, those who do it online, let them go out and play and do something else that is developmentally positive, and not get hooked to technology, because they won't even be able to learn their talents and their areas of strength. Okay, maybe Hawi, one day you'll give me some more time to go through this in depth, but that is what there is about addiction. So what's the way forward? As I conclude, technology is a double-edged sword, meaning it cuts both ways. Technology is not bad, technology is not good. Technology is what you make of it. So keep that in mind. Make wise decisions online. Advise your children, the younger people, all the people who are under your influence, and make sure that you remain cyber aware. Keep gaining knowledge on different aspects of technology, emerging threats, and especially for us who are in this digital space, so that we can be able to educate others. And also remember that safety is a personal and collective responsibility. So make it your responsibility. Take care of those around you, take care of your organization, because if you don't, you might just end up compromising everyone else who is close to you, whether in the organization or in your family. Remember, the human factor is always the weak link. Thank you so much. My name is Athena Morgan. Thank you, Hawi.
Thank you, Athena. I think you made it quite clear in terms of what we want to do. And one of the things you said is that 7-year-old children are now using phones, which means it's affecting so much of the value systems and is affecting some of the things that we're doing. How are we mentoring our children? How are we ensuring that they're using safer internet? So I don't want to dwell on your subject because you are an expert on that, and we look forward to having more discussion. So I want to take it to the next level by allowing, first of all, we can acknowledge to you so that also you don't feel like we've left your side. So those ones that I can acknowledge, maybe you can show a thumbs up on your for Athena. And those ones that can open the video, just wave up to Athena. So thank you, Athena, for the good presentation. Thank you so much. Oh, wow. Okay, thank you. So thank you so much. Thank you so much, Alphonse. Thank you, VP. I know you'll be closing up and giving a vote of thanks. So to Mfalme Armstrong, please take over, and you are the next online. Thank you so much. Mfalme? You are muted. We can't hear you. We can't hear you.
We have made you host again.
Yes, I'm handing over I'm just trying to hand over the host to him so he can talk as he wants to share his presentation. Welcome, Falme.
I hope I'm now good.
Yes, you're good. You can go on. You can see your presentation.
So basically, my name is Rapudo Onyango. I'm from Ugunja. I work with Kijiji Yeetu, but I also lecture. Basically, I'm also in the IT field. So because of time, I just wanted us to go through this thing and be able to understand it better. And I want to start by thanking Sister Athena so much for bringing and making it easier for me to present. Basically, we are looking at the safety of the internet from the village perspective. Because to us, a smart village is simply a community within the rural area. And these guys who are we're trying to work with together to be able to have smart villages, they are going to use innovative solutions. They will try to be able to have alliances, and they must be able to actively participate. So when we are looking at this smart village, we are looking at a center whereby we can be able, the village perspective, have a collection point, which according to my screen, I'm calling it a village server. Because with the internet or with communication or technology, a group of people whose gadgets are connected together, they will form a network and they can be able to communicate. So within the village setup, we will have a place whereby individuals can be able to gather information and be able to share information. So on one aspect, I will have this health guy, a healthcare worker within the village who will be able to send information to the mobile phones of women about how to take care of their babies, how to go through the universal health care. We will be talking about that banking within the village setup. Remember, we'll also have chamas. So within this smart village, within a village where guys have come together, put themselves together, and they are actively using technology to be able to get solutions. So we are talking about health, we are talking about banking, we are talking about education. The teacher can be able to come and be able to fill information that is required by their employer. These youths who have finished Form 4, They're having a point whereby they can be able to come and look for jobs online. Because remember, some of them are having mobile phones without connection. Gadgets that we have within the smart village to be able to be connected. So within the smart village, again, we are talking of a situation whereby the local administration can be able to send information. Mbuzi ya mtu imepotea. We can be able to post it. Something has been found. There is a motorbike that was lost and has been found. So we are talking about having these gadgets and being able to share them. So once we have set up this smart village, we will have connected people, we will have connected assets, we will have connected infrastructure, the operations will be connected. It means that there'll be a seamless integration of activities within the village. But as Athena was talking about these changes that are being brought by the village, things are cropping up. Technology changes have come in because of the interconnection. There is a change in the environment in the sense that some people now might be using their gadgets as phones, for example, smartphones, to be able to know climate change. They are using their phones which they have connected. Maybe somebody amefuga kuku, he's having CCTVs or he's having gadgets that can be able to be interconnected, and he's using his or her phone to see how they are in their coop. So we are having these changes coming in to the village. Remember, guys are seated. Remember, guys are working from their homes. Some are within a center, but they are communicating one to another. But what are we talking about today? That was just an introduction. We are really talking about how safe is the village based on this technology advancement. The people using their gadgets, the people sharing gadgets, the people borrowing gadgets, which threats can be able to ensure they are not safe? Because being safe means, number one, either we are protected from, or two, we are not exposed. You could be protected from something, or simply you could not be exposed for something. So within the village setup, and as these guys are coming and they are being set up in the group, and there's a lot of communication. Guys are going online doing job sites. Guys are downloading apps to be able to share information with mothers in the village. This local banker or this chama is be able to put information about the chama members. How safe is that gadget? So saying, number one, there has to be security threats which are going to meet these people. Number two, another thing, we have to protect and manage personal data. And number three, while we are online, we must ensure our reputation is able to stand the test of time. Though most of you will agree, an individual online and an individual in person are usually two different people. When you meet me online and you meet me in person, you are like, "Ay, who you calling Niule?" It is because people are able to hide under the technological gadgets. But we will be seeing that, and as much as we can be able to hide by putting pictures that are not ours, sharing names that are on the social media which are not ours, but the question is, how safe is the content within our mobile phone? Yes, you have hidden yourself. Yes, you have put that picture on the social media page. That is not you. The name you have used there is not yours. But remember, you have information on your mobile phone. Which information do you have? You have contacts of people. You have videos that you've taken or downloaded. You have photos that you have taken. You have emails on your phone, and you have things. Yes, online, nobody understands you. But inside the gadget you are using, there is data about yourself. So the question is, we have to avoid this harmful and illegal content from being exposed. So the question is, if I am bringing my village online, if I am having a smart village, are they safe? In order for us to do this, we have to think like the people who want to get to us. How do they get to us? In thinking like a hacker, somebody who wants to get information from us, we must understand, because the question is, for you to be safe, you must know what they do. Most of us go online, we download apps, and these apps we download, we normally download them so that we can be able to use them for a particular job. Things we normally do is we give rights. It asks you, I want rights to your contacts. I want rights to be able to connect to your photos. The app asks you, I want rights to be able to write into and out of your mobile phone. And most of us, without reading, we always give the rights or we click on OK. Now, when the hacker comes to the phone, one of the things that he normally does is called footprinting. To attack, any person who wants to attack you must be able to do a reconnaissance. They must be able to come and see how you behave. How do they get our behavior? When we are online, the things we are posting, what we are looking for, which kind of character are we portraying online? It usually shows them you are an intended target. It shows them you are somebody they can be able to get to and see what you have. So one thing they do is footprinting, trying to get to know who you are. Number two, they do what we are calling scanning. In scanning, they try to probe for information online. Who is he? What other social pages does he have? After that, they scan your gadget, your mobile phone or your laptop to see what or how vulnerable you are. After they are seeing how vulnerable you are, they try to get to see which usernames you're using. And some of us, you realize our phones, we are able to store usernames and passwords. Even some of us in our mobile phones. Do you know what we have done? The PIN of your bank account, which you don't know offhand, put an app and said, actually going into your contacts for a particular item, either your bank account, either your M-Pesa or whatever. We are the ones, we are enumerated. How are we enumerated? Is it possible that this person gave us the administrative rights? If as hackers, as a hacker, the hacker takes over those rights of your mobile phones. After he does that, the hacker will use the information they have gathered to gain ingress into your mobile phone or to your laptop or wherever they want to. They will use the administrative rights and be able to hack into you, then be able with those rights.
I know you have, can you move your slide so that people can see? Thank you. Sorry for cutting you.
Yes.
I was saying,
hello?
Your slide so that people.
Imekuja?
Yes, you can just move on because of time. Just move on.
Yes, you can just move on. I will post the slide. the
slides.
the presentation. So once the hacker gets in, he's able to get the privileges. And after that, he will direct his tracks and do what? He will plant what we call a backdoor. A backdoor is simply a program that he will now later on use to be able to get into your mobile phone anytime he wants. Why does he or she leave a backdoor? Because remember, you will be downloading, you will be, after that, you will be going into other WhatsApp groups. And in these other WhatsApp groups, what will you be doing? In these other WhatsApp groups, you will be trying to bring in other people. And they'll also, from you, they'll be able to get themselves to other people. Once they have been able to do that, they now have you, and from you, they can move on. So we are trying to say that on these safer days, within the villages, we will try to ensure that all our gadgets must be very, very safe. We will have to ensure that the guys who are using browsers, we have to update the browsers. We have to avoid giving personal information. We have to ensure that we have secure internet connections. We will encourage our people to have strong passwords, because for most of us, our passwords are the year we were born, or the name of our spouses, or our names. They are easy and simple to come. A strong password will be one which has letters, numbers, a mixture of capital letters and small letters. We should advise people to use those types of passwords. Then another thing is that we should try to tell guys to download apps that are only coming from stores. For example, last time we were learning GB WhatsApp. GB WhatsApp cannot be downloaded from the App Store, meaning that somebody will give you a link to be able to download it, then he will ask you for your rights to be able to load it in you. Now, the question that happens is this: if these persons cannot be able to be trusted to put GB WhatsApp on Google Apps, what is the problem? That I don't want to get into it. Always download apps from trusted stores. Another thing, always back up your data. Ensure that your contacts are backed up. Ensure that each and everything you do, you have a copy, and log out of sites. Hawi, I want to take very less time so that we can have more time for doing what? For discussion. I think at that point, I just want to open up the field so that people can be able to also come in and be able to do what? Let us discuss this.
Thank you so much. Thank you so much, Mfalme. You've said quite a lot of things, and you say about it's important to back up data, and it's important that we're trying to build a village where people are trying to do a lot of things. So how can we make sure that there's safe internet? I don't want to spend a lot of time, but we need to acknowledge to you. We can carry up our hands and share and say hello and acknowledge him and say thank you so much. Thank you, Mfalme. We have Enock. Enock, thank you. We have Enock. You can hand over back the host to me so that can hand over Mfalme back there. Enock Chiteri from the Kenya Youth Parliament. Are you here with us?
Yes.
I have given Chiteri the host.
The host, yeah. So Chiteri, you can
Chiteri is the host.
Okay, thank you.
Okay.
You can check the host and share your screen. Thank you. Thank you so much.
Thank you. Thank you very much. My name is Enock Chiteri from Siaya County, currently convening the Youth Parliament movement in Kenya. I'll be able to take us through what the Youth Parliament is all about and how we use the digital space in our work. I hope I'll be fast enough.
Yes, you have.
Are we able to see?
Yes, Enoch, you have from now is 11:11. You can end up at 11:23 or something like that. 11:25. Thank you.
11:23. For 11:23.
11:25.
Okay.
Just proceed. Thank you.
Okay, thank you. First of all, I want to introduce what the Youth Parliament is. It is a platform that we use for advocacy. It is a youth-led and youth-focused initiative, and we are using advocacy approaches to push social accountability agenda. We focus on health, education, economic empowerment, social empowerment, and governance. We have different platforms that have already been created across the country. We have several chapters in Siaya County. We have 2 chapters in Homa Bay County. We have upcoming chapters in Migori also. We have a chapter in Narok, and we also have another chapter coming up in Kajiado in the next few months. So it is a platform that's pushing for social change, and it is entirely driven by the young people and owned by the young people. The design of the Youth Parliament is just like the normal National Assembly or County Assembly, complete with the structures of the speaker, the clerks, the committees, and the members. And we have members who represent, apart from the regions they come from, they represent different sectors. Those are the youth in business, the youth from institutions, the youth working with the communities and community organizations, and the youth representing different professions within the community. Our mission is to amplify youth voices for action on good governance and social accountability, because for a long time, the young people have been, by design or by default, they've been missing in decision-making platforms, in committees, in very key committees, key meetings where the agenda is tabled, and we feel we need to be present in such spaces. Our vision is accountable society. Now, that's just a sample of how the Youth Parliament sits, complete with the members from both sides, so facing each other. Then we have the speaker and the clerks at one end. It's just like the normal assembly that you see. That's some of the photos of activities that we engage in. In this meeting, we were interrogating the budget documents for the county and giving our views, which we later sent to the Department of Economic Planning, as well as the County Assembly Committee for Budget and for consideration. And we've seen a lot of success in the views that we continuously given. We work with different partners in our engagement. Locally, we have organizations like Tembea Youth Center, we have Siaya Muungano, we have UDI, we have Talanta Youth Empowerment Center, we have Malaika Foundation, Ukahik, and many other organizations that we have locally. And we also partner with organizations that have presence in our county, in the counties that I've mentioned, like AMREF Health Africa, NAYA Kenya, VSO, and many other organizations that have interest in advocacy and empowering of the young people. Those are some of the sample of photos that we have frequently in our meetings. Now, how do we use the digital space in our work? And this is very critical. We use the digital space for visibility of our work. We use websites, we use social media platforms to build our social change movement and agenda. And we also use the digital space for fundraising and connecting with the organizations that have interest in empowering the young people, and especially those organizations that want to give the young people the voice and the capacity to speak out and to present their issues. We also hold online meetings and trainings using the digital space. And we can recall that last year we had lessons learned in those of us who are working in with organizations and communities, and who frequently hold meetings and physical meetings and community engagements and things like that, and moving from place to place. And we all witnessed that the world had to adapt to new ways of doing things, and having online meetings was one of those strategies that was well seen. So webinars came into play, online meetings came into play, Zoom, Google Meet, and such kind of engagements really helped. But other than what was happening last year, in the course of last year and part of the other year, and we still continue right now, we've been using these platforms to engage locally and also internationally, and having meetings and with members with whom we share COPs and all that, and it's been one of the greatest platforms. The digital space has given us the opportunity to engage beyond our local community and to engage beyond the social interaction that we have around us. And the other way that we use the digital space, and which we use the internet mostly, is media advocacy. And for a long time, before the growth of geotechnology was seen, there was the advocacy that was done by social movements like us, which was mostly local and physical in nature, and didn't have to involve a lot of media then. Or if it was media, it was maybe the local radio stations and all that. But with the growth of the new technology and the increasing number of phones within our communities, we've been able to upscale media interactions using mobile phones and using iPads and computers to engage more and more. And we use the phones to identify advocacy issues and track and monitor advocacy agenda in our midst. And this has been very, very helpful. We also use phones and such kind of gadgets for reporting community issues such as SGBV, where we use hotlines and some platforms that have been designed for tracking such kinds of issues. We all know that there are hotlines that are being used, which you can use either offline or online, depending on how they are designed. We also have specific spots that have been created within websites where you can be able to report such cases. We also use phones to mobilize people for advocacy work, and especially the use of applications like WhatsApp, where we are all in different platforms that we've been designed to be in by choice or by default. And you find you have a pool of persons who you want to interact with. And in such spaces, you also share advocacy issues and mobilize people to attend. The Youth Parliament has engaged aggressively in policy and budget advocacy in our counties. And one of the major area of concern has been how do the community participate in such kind of initiatives? How do they attend meetings? How do they propose issues on specific agenda? How do they put their views across for consideration by the county government or the national government at whichever level of that interaction? And we've realized that they need to be mobilized somehow. But because almost everyone has a phone and majority of people are in WhatsApp, finding them in WhatsApp has been an easy way of pushing for that kind of mobilization. As a social movement, we also use the internet for research and analysis and advocacy work, because we base our work on factual data that has been verified and has also been documented, but they carry the weight of the issue that we want to push for. So the internet has helped us in getting this kind of data and analyzing some of them if need be, and backing our agenda with that kind of data. We also have engaged and pushed for campaigns online using Twitter chats and online discussions, and this we frequently do in conjunction with some of our partners who are also in similar spaces. Citizen journalism is also an area that we aggressively push for, so that our members are able to document issues real time whenever they happen for speedy action and consideration by those who are mandated to address them. And data and research is also an area where the digital space has helped us to strengthen and to aggressively work on. We work with the young people, and we've documented concerns and case studies of how positively and how negative the young people use the digital space. And because this topic talks about the digital development, it's important to recognize that the young people, being as aggressive as they are, as excited as they are, and as upcoming and talented and skillful, the millennials have been able to show the world how talented, how skillful, and how creative they are in creating their own spaces. But some of the things that have happened has also been negative. So positively, there have been a lot of social interaction and networking among young people all over the world. And it has created the digital, the world to be so small. Facebook, TikTok, Instagram, and blogs have created that opportunity. Learning and exploring opportunities has also been a great opportunity for young people to engage in. You go and browse specific sites for progressive content, searching for sites for scholarship, and many other things that you can be able to get from the internet. And also sharing talents and skills and progressive actions. The YouTube currently has been the greatest lifter of talents and such kind of actions we see from the young people. YouTubers are gaining so much right now, sharing comedy and short skits. They've been able to generate content that are being either attractive to millions of people. Those who are in the music industry are earning just as much, and I think it's been very exciting. We've also seen young people sharing the individual work. Those who are doing farming, just sharing the best practices in farming, in agribusiness, sharing the little steps of the action they do, the progress, the challenges, and people see this real time and respond, and people are able to ape what's happening all over the world from this kind of activities. But negatively also, we've seen internet addiction, and I think Athena Morgan just brought it out very clearly how this also affects our society. People are addicted to internet. People will get glued to their phones, their tablets, their computers at the expense of those who they are around. And we've also seen young people accessing and using illicit content, gaming sites and porn sites. It's been documented, and it's not long ago when it was reported that some of the games that we see online that the young people follow influence them negatively. Some get in depression, some have suicidal tendencies, and this is very negative. Cyberbullying, stalking, and extortion. Athena spoke to this very well, and it's also one of the negative ways that young people have found themselves in the digital space. And we've seen in many countries, I think in the West, in the western part of Africa, Ghana, Senegal, where young people are stalking personalities and extorting money and stealing their identities and trying to package themselves as who they are not. And this has been very detrimental. I think maybe this because of poverty and things like that. And then pushing negative agenda, negative politicking. And this, because Kenya is currently in a political mood, you go to the social media and it's very, very traumatizing. Young people from all walks of life.
Enock,
yes, Hawi, yes.
You can wind up in the next 1 minute, please.
Yes. So negative politicking is taking this country to levels that need to be regulated. As I finish, and I think I'll be able to do that in the next 1 minute, we recommend that, looking at even our theme, Together for a Better Internet, we need to prioritize digital empowerment and enhance digital skills empowerment for the youth. And we also need to increase coverage of digital programs such as Algeria Digital Platform, Nairobi, to communities that they are not able to be found, but also we understand the infrastructural challenges that are there. How can we also regulate internet use and strengthen policies that make digital space more friendly and productive? And finally, enhance partnerships with local and grassroots organizations like the Youth Parliament, wherever they are, local organizations and CBOs, to increase the viability of digital space in the communities and the smart villages. I think that marks my final contribution in this particular segment. Thank you very much for listening.
Thank you, Enoch. Thank you. You can hand over the host back to me. Thank you, and you can stop sharing. Thank you. Thank you. Now I know Megan is on the way, but very important things that Enoch has touched on. The most way to go is that we need more digital empowerment for young people within the village, given the issue of the negative use of social media. So I need, just instead of wasting a lot of time, give it to Megan. So Enoch, hand over to Megan Kathure so that Megan can take over and she can start presenting. So Megan, I think we have the.
Thank you.
Enoch, can you hand over the host? Or I can reclaim the host.
Yes, I've done that. Have I done it? No, not really.
You have handed over to Donas Abuao. Abuao, can you hand over the host, please?
Okay.
Yeah. Whom do I hand it?
I think I
hand it to
Hello?
Internet Society
to
of
Hawi.
Kenya. And
Okay,
Internet Society.
So,
okay.
Yeah, sorry for the mismatch. Okay.
So, Megan, you start talking and I make you the host. Welcome, Megan. It's now handed over to you. So you have until 11:45. So the floor is here for you. Thank you. But before you come in, Enoch, we can just acknowledge to Enoch for those beautiful presentation. Enoch, thank you. Thank you. We can acknowledge to you. Thank you. We hand over to Megan. Kazi-kwako.
Thank you very much. Mine will be very brief comments. I hope you can hear me. Mine will be very brief comments on some of the things we would need to improve on or focus on even during this in celebrating Safer Internet Days. So my focus will be on encryption and just a brief highlight on digital rights with respect to women. So digital or online spaces themselves do not refer only to internet spaces such as social media platforms and forums such as Facebook, Twitter, or Instagram, or online marketplaces, blogs, or personal websites, but they also refer to environments that facilitate interactions between people and technology. And this could include applications such as smart fridges, Fitbit surveillance cameras, technologies. Promoting a safer internet, therefore, should go beyond championing for safety in the digital interfaces we use, such as social networking sites, but also physical mediums facilitating human and technology interactions. And in this sense, then we will need to identify and concern ourselves with what type of data is collected and ensuring that in these digital interfaces that mediate between human interaction and technology, that there is adherence to data protection principles such as the principle of necessity and proportionality. One of the challenges in online spaces is that they often harbor and perpetuate threats to the experiences of women participating in them. Women are disproportionately impacted by online violence, such as image-based sexual abuse, non-consensual distribution of intimate images, as well as online scams and hacks. Women have been noted to be twice as likely as men to have their intimate images shared without their consent. And the lack of gendered approach to online aggravation and crimes makes it difficult for women to to seek help from public and private authorities. Another aspect that we will need to focus our attention in promoting safer internet is the spread of misinformation, disinformation, and malinformation. And these are examples that are also threaten women's digital experiences. And on this facet, my message will be they'll need to promote platform accountability, algorithmic transparency, reviewing the type of data sets that big tech companies use during their technologies rather. Moving on to the use of encryption, we know that encryption is a feature that is a vital element in today's telecommunications sphere. And the way to achieve a truly end-to-end communication system is to indeed encrypt the content of the data exchanged between the people communicating. I'll highlight 3 core features of end-to-end encryption from an implementation perspective. And these 3 features include authenticity, confidentiality, and integrity. So authenticity in an end-to-end communication system promotes, or rather it enables the recipient to be certain of the person who sent the message, and the sender is certain who received it. With respect to confidentiality, our end-to-end system provides message confidentiality of only the sender, and intended recipients can read the messages in plain text. A plain text is a message that has not been encrypted. The last feature, that is integrity, this refers to when a system guarantees that messages have not been modified in transit. So a recipient is assured that the message they have received is exactly what the sender intended to send. So with respect to the role of encryption in local community and digital smart villages, it will be pertinent to note that in smart villages, there are a number of Internet of Things technologies, and this Internet of Things technologies are usually associated with billions of gadgets with a network, and there's thus an immense number of information that is constantly being exchanged and being gathered and being moved and sent at the same time. And so we need to incorporate encryption in modern technologies, especially Internet of Things technologies, even in digital smart villages. And one of the roles of end-to-end encryption, or even encryption at large, is the benefits. One of the benefits is that it secures financial transaction, it ensures and enables secure communication, and therefore we can say that encryption plays a crucial role in how we use the internet today. However, encryption as a technology is a double-edged sword, because it is being used or exploited by bad actors to commit crimes, and hence there has been a call by states to undermine encryption. However, the attempt by states to have backdoors to encrypted system is not in and of itself a good call, because its impact is disproportionate to the role that it seeks to achieve. And one of the ways of balancing, or rather trying to see how encryption is useful in our societies today, is looking at it from a socio-political and economic perspective. One proven economic effect of weakening encryption is that there is reduced consumer trust, there is stifled technological innovation, there is diminished e-commerce activity, which decreases economic competitiveness. Therefore, by and large, it creates a negative economic impact. From the social political lens, we will need to understand how encryption plays a role in implicating certain human rights, national security, and public safety. And so one of the ways to maintain a balance between ensuring that encryption promotes human rights and at the same time law enforcement agencies are able to nab in bad actors is to make sure that one, any proposals for weakening encryption can only or should only be imposed for legitimate grounds, that they must also conform to the strict tests of necessity and proportionality, and that they must also they must meet the strict test of necessity and proportionality, and therefore outright prohibitions on the use of encryption should not be disproportionate to the lawful ends that they seek to achieve. That will be the end of my presentation.
Thank you, Megan. I think that's quite informative. We're talking about end-to-end encryption, where we are talking about our villages as we're moving towards the 21st century. Where will they be in terms of trying to look at their safety, where you're talking about the Internet of Things, and how are we able to ensure that some of the people using some of the gadgets are able to secure them, like the youth groups that Enock was talking about, and also Athena talking about the issue of cyberbullying. So I don't want to waste a lot of time. Maybe we can hand over back the host from me as we acknowledge to you. We can acknowledge to Megan for the good presentation. Just good that you did us a very good presentation. Thank you. We can hand over the host to me, Megan. You can hand over the, okay, thank you. Thank you so much. So without wasting a lot of time, I go to Albert Migowa. Albert Migowa. Then from Albert Migowa, we were supposed to have Dr. Richard Omollo. Now that, and then Joel was the one supposed to close the meeting for the way today, given that is the secretary and one of the executive members. Albert Migowa. Albert, are you?
Yes, kindly share my presentation.
Okay, I'm doing it. Just a minute. 1 minute. Just 1 minute, Albert. You can start talking as I'm getting the presentation.
Okay, so good morning, everybody. My name is Albert Migowa, and I define myself as a wellness creator. So as that, I do three things. I am a counseling psychologist, I am an emotional intelligence trainer and coach, and I'm also involved in aspects of mentorship. Besides that, I'd like to make a point of correction. I'm the head of communications and public relations and not outreach, as earlier mentioned. So today we'll be looking at how emotional intelligence influences, or how emotional intelligence will ensure that we can be safe online. So I think I'll just begin by just giving us the objectives of this particular presentation. That one, we'll get to understand what emotional intelligence is all about. Number two, we'll get to know what are some of the various competencies and skills that pertain to emotional intelligence. And finally, three, see the link between emotional intelligence and being safe in the digital space. So as I begin, I'd like to begin by just defining what emotions are. So emotions are basically biological processes that emanate from a part of a brain called the amygdala. And the amygdala concerns itself with feelings such as anger and fear. So thereby, emotions, therefore, are signals from the brain It signals from the brain that either a threat or reward has been identified in our environment. And the messages can then be accompanied by a physical response, which drives you either to turn away from the threat or take you towards the reward. So for example, you can imagine if maybe you're on your way home and along the road you come across maybe, let's say, a snake. What will you do? You will perhaps run or scream or go the opposite direction. So that is a threat. And when it comes to a reward, a good example is, I always say, children. Whenever a child does a good deed, we tend to reward them with, for instance, a sweet. So if a child, let's say, does their homework or maybe has improved in their schoolwork, we tend to reward them with perhaps a sweet. And what that does to the child, it encourages the child to keep on doing that behavior. So consequently, the behavior will be consistent, hence the reward. The next slide, please. So now we know what emotions are. So now what is intelligence? Now, intelligence has been defined differently by different people and different researchers. But the researchers agree that intelligence has two key components. That one, the ability to learn from experience, and number two, the ability to adapt to your environment. Okay, so to learn from experience in what sense? I mean, every single day we are learning, whether from the time you wake up, and my best example is the traffic that we experience, for instance, in Nairobi. I mean, if you wake up at a particular time and you come across traffic, what does that mean? It means that the next time you want to wake up perhaps a bit earlier and perhaps use a different route. So in that way, you find that you have learned from experience and you've adapted to the context of where you are at, and in this case, the crazy Nairobi traffic. So now we've looked at what emotions are, and we've looked at what intelligence is. So therefore, what is emotional intelligence? So emotional intelligence, therefore, is the ability to understand and manage your emotions and that of other people. And other people call it people skills or people smartness. Now, the study or the conversation around emotional intelligence was made popular in the mid-90s by one psychologist known as Daniel Goleman. And it was through his book titled Why Emotional Intelligence Matters More Than IQ. And I'm going to talk about his competency models, which are 4 of them. And this is what constitutes emotional intelligence as far as Daniel Goleman is concerned. 1, we have what you call self-awareness. Number 2, we've got what you call self-regulation. Number 3, we have got what you have social awareness. And number 4, we have got what you call relationship management or social skills. I will briefly explain each of them. So what is self-awareness? So self-awareness concerns itself with being able to understand, evaluate, identify one's feelings. And self-awareness has got various competencies and skills. Within it, we've got aspects of self-confidence, where you're able to understand and know your self-worth. It has aspects of being able to understand your weaknesses and strengths. And it has also got the it also has got the aspect of emotional awareness, being aware how you're feeling at every one given time. The second competency is what we call self-regulation. So self-regulation concerns itself with being able to understand your emotions at any one given time and thereby respond appropriately. The third one is social awareness. So social awareness concerns itself with being able to understand and respond to the needs of other people, within social awareness, we look at skills such as empathy, where, according to layman's language, being able to feel and sense things from one's point of view. We've got organizational dynamics, which involves being able to understand the dynamics that in any given organization. And we've got service orientation, which concerns itself with giving service. The final tier of emotional intelligence is what I call relationship management or social skills, which concerns itself with how we relate and interact with people in the society. And there are various skills under this. I'll mention but a few. We've got issues around being a change agent, whereby one individual wants to bring about change. You've got one who is a development catalyst, who wants to see development through positive criticism and getting feedback. We've got the aspect of even networking, the aspect of communication and decision making and problem solving. And you realize all these skills are key skills that leaders actually have. Now, what have we learned thus far? We've learned really very briefly, in a nutshell, what emotional intelligence is. And I've said emotional intelligence concerns itself with being able to understand one's emotions and that of other people. I have mentioned the 4 key competency models, which are 1, self-awareness, 2, self-regulation, 3, social awareness, and 4, social skills or relationship management. So now we want to look at what is the link between emotional intelligence and digital safety. Now, under this link, I'm going to focus on 3 key skills, namely emotional awareness, and 2, problem solving and decision making. And thirdly, there's a third one. There's kindly go to the last slide. The last slide. Okay, let's just begin. I'll remember it as we go down. So let's begin from the top. Let's go to the first one. Let's go to slide number 11.
Sorry. It's hanging. Sorry, though.
Okay.
It's hanging. Sorry for that. Just go on as I just. Sorry for that. Sorry for this.
Okay, so let me begin. So when talk of emotional awareness, remember the whole idea of digital safety, and in this context, I want to look at the aspect of social engineering in terms of what hackers mainly seek to do. They mostly tend to employ emotional manipulating tactics to be able to derive certain information from us. So the whole idea is what they do, they always tend to identify the weak link in any given chain. So to be aware about some of this, to be aware about the potential danger, it is very important to keep in mind the following points. And one is the aspect of emotional awareness. So here it basically concerns itself with being literally aware of what's happening around you at any one given time, being present, And when you're present and you're able to address all your pent-up feelings, and you're able to dissociate and at times even disassociate yourself from certain emotions that you may be having, that will give you some clarity of thought, even as you seek to address and engage in various aspects of digital safety. Okay, then it also includes the ability to differentiate between we call subletives in one's own emotions, whereby when understanding the cause of these emotions and their impact on one's thoughts and actions and those of other people. What emotional awareness also does, it's a very critical emotional intelligence skill that is critical for increasing personal resilience and mental alertness, okay, to become resilient against social engineering attacks and not fall for the various sophisticated emotional manipulation techniques of cyber hackers. The next skill is problem solving and decision making, okay? What is important to keep in mind here is that, remember, our emotions influence the way we solve problems, and they may influence the way we solve our problems, and therefore cloud our judgment. Okay, and as I said earlier on, we process information through the limbic part of our brain, where all our feelings are regulated. So during times of stress and pressure, the amygdala, the part of our brain that concerns with emotions, it controls emotions of fear, anger, and sadness, and sometimes even past experiences that are associated with certain emotions. So the thing is, you can learn to decide to defer depending on your emotional state, okay? And disassociating yourself from the situation by using different perspectives can help you reduce your negative emotions and learn to decide or defer to ensure best optimal outcome possible. So simply put, with problem solving and decision making, once you're able to have clarity of thoughts, clarity of what you want to do, then you're in a better position to address the attack that has happened. Finally, there's optimism. Yeah, optimism is generally an indicator of one's positive attitude and outlook in life. It involves remaining hopeful and resilient during, despite occasional setbacks. And remember, during a cyber attack, the survival mode of the human mind is activated. Okay, so the idea is for you to stay focused on the next right step without using, using words that can make something bigger than it actually is. You need to focus on your locus of control. You know, basically focus on what you can handle. Speak words of empowerment and shift to expect positive outcomes. Okay. And this will help you reframe cyber in a different light, as it often triggers feelings of fear and uncertainty, because, yeah. So simply put, the skill of optimism, the skill of problem solving and decision making, and the skill of emotional awareness are very key skills of emotional intelligence that can make one be better placed to address and handle issues around issues concerning safety in the digital space. So what have we learned? We have looked at what emotional intelligence is, we've defined it. We've looked at the 4 competency models, which are self-awareness, self-regulation, social awareness, and social skills. We've then gone deeper and we've looked at some of the skills that we need of emotional intelligence to make
Recording in progress.
Sorry, gentlemen, ladies and gentlemen, let's just, yeah, please have people log back in. And I think Albert will just do his part and finish. Apologies once more. Sorry, Albert, can you hear me?
Hello?
Yes, we can hear you.
Okay, okay. Albert, just sorry for that interruption.
Okay.
I think it's the networks in Nairobi that are failing. Sorry about that. Let's have Albert just complete his part.
Okay, so I was just winding up and I was giving an overview of what my presentation has been all about. So we touched on, we looked at what emotions are, what intelligence is, what emotional intelligence is all about. We've looked at the various competency models of emotional intelligence, which are self-awareness, self-regulation, social awareness, and social skills. And then looking at the link between emotional intelligence and digital safety, we've said that there are key skills at which we need that emanate from emotional intelligence, such as emotional awareness, problem solving, and decision making. And finally, we have we've got optimism. Thank you very much. Yeah. I'm done.
Thank you, Albert. Thank you, Mr. Migowa. I'm just looking around to see if Hawi is able to get back in. Maybe in a minute or so. And I know Albert has covered another wide area. If there are any questions, please, you can also type them out on the chat, and any of our earlier presenters can respond. Okay, I see how he's coming on. Yeah.
Joel, you can take over the meeting. Apologies, the system went off. Apologies, you can just take over the meeting. You are the one who's winding up, and then we can get the question and the answer session. Sorry for that.
All right, thanks, Hawi. Thanks for that. And sorry, your system went to rest. I'll quickly share my screen. So I hope we can see the share. My name is Joel Okomoli, and I'm so happy a lot of work has already been done by all the previous speakers. My own now is to translate some of the issues that have been raised, thoughts that have been brought out into action, into something that we can do as an internet society. And an obvious starting point is building trust. A lot of people go online, access the internet to do all manner of things. But we have a group that just goes online to do nothing. They just hang around. They just hang around Twitter, or probably for slight kind of entertainment, or looking for a friend, to connect and so on. This group of people seems to be the higher percentage. A very small percentage makes better use of the internet. I'm referring to the people who go in there to sell a product, sell a service, offer, some direction, or even take photographs of nice places and put them online, so that some others will see and now, develop a plan, say, I'll visit this place, or this looks nice, I'll go to Mombasa, or I'll go to Masai Mara, and so on. So this trust is very important, because then for those who want to sell a product, they will have market. There will be so many people going online and they're looking for items there, because then we know you can buy a phone, or I can buy a particular commodity on this website or on the other. I want to continue, but this my slideshow is kind of frozen. So what I'll do, I'll just remove the okay. Having mentioned trust, we'll see later on what happens with the schools and what Internet Society can do or help you do while you embark on on your journey. This is the action I'm talking about. At the end of a session like this, we want you to write down 2-3 points, 2-3 things you want to achieve, and with our support, so that it becomes our next point of conversation. So at the moment, there are a lot of issues around the world. I think some of us have seen mail about ANIT, some new regulations in the US which had been suspended, and now they're trying to bring them back. Kijiji Yeetu, one of our partners, Kijiji Yeetu, and I think a few others have also signed up, to add their voice to this matter. Global encryption is, general encryption is under threat. And so we have a coalition that's called the GEC, Global Encryption Coalition, which brings together all those people who are advocating for encryption, more and more encryption. We want it strengthened. People want to communicate privately, and we do not want government interference or interference by regulators, so that when you have a conversation, you are confident. It's only the recipient who is getting this kind of communication going through. So government has its own justification, of course, issue security and so on, but that is another discussion. With the COVID situation, many people have had to explore options of working from home, and working from home means accessing all the resources. You should be able to access an invoice from the office digitally. You should be able to scan your receipts and send back. You should be able to store documents online, something that was never a responsibility or a serious need. But now it has to happen. And you have a lot of this. You have to prepare minutes. You have to generally engage on work issues, but remotely. So then it means this internet has to work. And we must have access to this internet. And that's why the Internet Society exists. A colleague earlier mentioned the Internet of Things, which is now being reversed. Initially, you would sit in the office and try to control things at home. But what is happening now? You sit at home and try to control things in the office. And what else do you have in the office? There's a lot of stuff going on. If it's a factory, maybe you are not able to be there in person, but you need temperatures controlled. At night, probably you adjust them upwards. In the day, you adjust downwards, but you can't go there physically. So this Internet of Things will get you sorted. Alongside many other uses. I think the examples are there all out for us. Yeah, so only a secure internet will help us realize this. And alongside this internet, sometimes we are lucky, things have been done for us at the back. You just log in, run, do your stuff, and log out. But it's important as people in ICT in general to also understand, How does the internet operate? How does it operate? What happens behind the scenes? What happens behind those servers? We all have probably a Gmail account, we have a Yahoo account alongside others. What happens? How do they mount their servers? What do they do in a peer-to-peer networking? How do they make sure local traffic is fast enough? So these are the issues that are covered in our internet governance channels. And every year we have, I've not seen Barack online, but we have conveners. I think Migowa might be one of them, Albert. Yeah, but this is something you should take. Commit yourself to go through this course this year, so that you are able to join the traffic. You're able to see what happens, and that way you're able to contribute to the change that we want to see. We also have the Kenya IGF, which is a place where we hold our policy discussions. And many people here, I'm sure, have attended either one or two of the sessions. And then the Africa IGF and so on. These forums are good because this is where updates are shared. This is where conversation goes on about the upcoming changes or what must be stepped down for the sake of growth. This is a global platform. So interests change every time. And what can we do as a society to ensure that we are also influencing the right kind of change? And technologies are also changing. What can we do to ensure that the new gadgets coming out are compatible enough, and we don't lose, on other aspects that are important to us, such as encryption and accessibility. There are people who are not able to hear well or see well. What can we do to ensure that they are not left out in this space? Those are some of the issues that are very, very important. And for us as a chapter, you can pick any of these. You can pick any of these and run with it. We have young people out there who are not able to join our SIG. This School of Internet Governance, probably people who are working and can access Nairobi, or 3 days or 4 days in Nairobi and can go and do this course. How about Mombasa? How about people in Nyeri, Kitale? What can you do? You engage. You pick an item here, you write your small proposal, and the Internet Society Kenya chapter will be so happy to carry this forward. So I already spoke about this, and during our recent AGM, I gave some highlights, and we said we have only about 2 or 3 opportunities every year. So your idea should come in early enough, and we vote it in, and you go do something. You start somewhere. Allow me to move on because of time. I think it's already past midday, and we need to finish, to wind up. The topics I'm putting here are basically for your research. If you have a notebook, you just write this down and you go on, explore the Article 19 of these human rights we are talking about. What happens if somebody infringes on your rights? I'm glad Megan handled some of this, and I think the gentleman Chiteri, he talked about this. A lot of things go on. Where is the where is the police? Do they understand? Are they able to help out? So that that if you are if you're offended or you have somebody harassing you online, there's something that you can do to stop it or to get out of it. Some people say you just log out or you stop using the internet, but I mean, you can't stop. Even if you do, it will be for a while and you'll be itching to come back, either for work or you do your business there. So there's no way you stop using the internet. The only way is to build trust, to make sure we are stopping all the people who are abusing those that facility, or rather the platform. We have seen internet shut down last year, and this year a few countries are going into elections. Unfortunately, these are the greatest source of internet shutdown, and the coup d'etats we are seeing probably in some parts of West Africa. This is something that has to end. And for us, it has to end because we feel anytime this is happening, then the internet is turned off. When the internet is turned off, a lot of innocent people are inconvenienced. We have students who are doing their studies online. Then because somebody wants to take over government, you shut down the internet. It is unfair. And that is where we come in as advocates. We have to talk to these people. We have to write to them. We have to publish and tell them that this is not an option. The internet must be left there. It must be on, and it must be resilient. Of course, I've mentioned the freedom of expression. While you find this a good place to look for company, to look for solace, and even probably make new friends, it's important to remember that, as Athena mentioned earlier, and even the previous speaker, Mr. Migowa, the way you feel, how does the other person feel? These things you are saying to the others, if they were being said to you, how would you feel? Look at the other user as a person, as a human, and then say to them things that you know will only improve the relationship, and also respect in that manner. And I'm happy the issue of photographs came up. You have some photographs of yourself, maybe your colleagues or your family. So once in a while, probably you put this to share with a friend and so on, and somehow these photos find themselves probably on WhatsApp and other fora. So then what is the problem? If people respect that data as your own and these are your friends, they will not be able to abuse. But we have seen cases where this is taken and then used now to blackmail you or to hunt down for other information about yourself. I'm not going to say anything about KRA and what they are doing online. I do not think that is the way to net those who are evading taxes. But I mean, if they try to use the platform for that kind of business, then it will be retrogressive. People will now find other ingenious ways of surviving online. And that is the matter that I want to look at in the next slide. But before I leave, I know there has been discussion around this Data Act for 2019. It has been amended, and I think it has been signed into law. I was trying to get a copy this morning, but I think those who are interested can also try and look for it, and we see, these institutions that are being created through this act. How can we make best use of them? How can we partner with them? And we have a session with the data commissioner, which should be happening early March. And those of us who are here, and probably those even who are not here, we can share with them. We'll prepare. It will be a webinar. You log in, and those who are in Nairobi might be able to have to enjoy the hybrid meeting, because we want to have a few people in attendance. So it is good for us to look at it and understand, what the act says. And I would be happy if one of us also took it up and prepared a presentation just to take members through. This is something any of us can do, especially those who have a little time. We can facilitate that. Just call us up for an hour. We publicize to our members, and we have a virtual conversation, maybe for an hour. The internet remains one of our greatest resources. If you look at what was gazetted recently, as a key, infrastructures within Kenya, I think the Minister for Interior gazetted quite a number of items, and I was happy. The internet was, the fiber was listed as one of our national key infrastructure. So alongside, of course, the airports and the ports, the hub, and so on. I think those who have been in the news know what was. There are, I think, 5 key installations that were gazetted, so that they are protected against destruction or even vandalism. But alongside this infrastructure, we are saying skills transfer is very important. And among us here, I've seen now we are online about 18 or maybe more. So others are following on the live stream. Every year, if each of us can do something small, then these skills will keep growing. And in a short while, all our mothers in the village will be able to use their phones comfortably without giving out the PIN. All our grandmothers will be able to buy something without having to go to the market, just calling the local attendant and say, please send me some 2 kgs of sugar. I will pay by M-Pesa, that confidence is what we want, because that is a better quality of life. We are living in an era where families are getting smaller and smaller. And you find that within maybe 20 to 30 years, the children are all grown. So the old folks are left alone without technology. Anytime you go home, you meet your parents and you speak to them. But now you do it once a year. Technology should help you. If you can train your parents to do video call, you're able to call them every evening through video, because they will see you and they will hear you, and it's as good as physical meeting. If we do that, it is never expensive. In fact, it's cheaper than traveling. And alongside issues of disability and so on, they must never be left out. We advocate for inclusion. And while we want the internet to be useful, we want it to be useful for all, for all groups of people. I will jump to the last item because of time and mention cryptocurrencies. This is an area where you have to proceed with caution. There are a few that are genuine, there are others that are simply fake. You just cannot go on to Google, search up something, cryptocurrency, see this company, send them your money. You will definitely lose it, because there are a lot of people who are using fake accounts and fake information, which later you'll not be able to trace or even find, for that matter. So the internet is a modern day marketplace. If for the people living in Nairobi, I think now you can go for a whole month without going to your local grocery store, because you have your orders sent out and there's somebody they have there making all the deliveries. So you don't need to go to the market, but you're able to run our houses on a day-to-day basis. Even elsewhere, I think this is going beyond Nairobi and it's going beyond Kenya. So that is the way to go. And we want to make this faster. We want to make it easier. How do we do it? Give us a proposal. We have apps going out there every day. Which one is yours? That is the challenge for us. Get something out there, and the rest will be smiles to the bank. I left this slide here because of the next one, but it has been well tackled. All the threats have been, not all, I think most of them, because there are new threats coming up every day. This was adequately covered by our former chair, Madam Athena, but this is what I thought I should just put here. I'm sure you can be able to see, this is my face when I'm online. And then when we meet in person, this is what you see, a very cool person, and sorry, the translation is in Swahili, but it just says, I'm usually polite. I'm usually polite, but I just have, kiburi is what? I'm just arrogant online. Because when I go online, then I have this roaring lion. But when we meet person to person, this is what you see. So how many of us have this kind of life? How many? We have some online identity. Someone, and that someone knows another person. So if we don't stop these people, then at another point somebody will also harass you. Because if you have a friend who is harassing people, this is common in campus. A fellow student who has 5 accounts. What do they do with these feed accounts? The president's photo and put there so that it looks like a GOK account. You want to say something nasty about, they go and look at some of your photos and put them there. And then they say all these sorts of things. So this, we are saying, is the cycle that we have to stop, and all of us have to to share in this responsibility. It doesn't matter whether you've been harassed or not. It is something that we have to stop. So how do we do it? Again, these are proposals that we look forward to. If I can stop 2 people from behaving that way, somebody else will stop another 3, then the internet will become a very safe place, and it will be safe space for our children. Yes, yes. It will be safe space for our children and also for people who want to work there. So in summary, at this slide, I just leave it here. I think online social norms, we have already been told something about this. There's no need to repeat. But some people think that if you put out your names properly out on the internet, probably you are naive. You know, if you go to Facebook and you see Joel or Okomoli, you know, then you say, this guy, you know, why does he put his names here? There are people who want to call themselves Javisto or King Kong or something else. Why? Why? So then, if somebody is looking for you and you are using a pseudo, you are using some nickname or other name, how will your old schoolmate find you? How will an employer check your conduct online if they are considering you for a job? Let's be the nice people that we are, offline and online. And I think it is better. And your cycle will grow. It's a sign of confidence. It's a sign of maturity to have proper identity online. Because then, when these people meet you offline, they will be so happy. They will be so glad to have met you online. But you know, when you hide, and then you say, no, I'm the other guy. You know, the other guy with another name. That is the kind of stuff that goes on, and you lose out big. You lose out big time. You lose out on the job. You lose out on the important connections. Identify yourself properly. So in the chance that you have a physical meeting, you see somebody walk up to you and say, I'm so glad. Sorry? Okay. So, well, I've talked about the collaborative approach to security, and the role of civil society is there out there for all of us. We have heard from some of the people doing something like Enock and Armo. But the middle bullet is most important, the youth agenda. Let's carry it forward. I will not say anything about community networks because that has been spoken about in a lot of other forums. Thank you very much. Let's break these barriers. Let's continue growing. Let's do business online. Let's, move things forward. We don't just go online for entertainment. Do business, make some money. And how do we make that money? Join such meetings and create more meetings for us to learn and share information. Thank you very much. And thank you, Hawi. Sorry for going way beyond about 20 minutes. Thank you very much. And have
thank
a
you
good
so
day,
much.
everyone.
Thank you, Joel, and thank you, everybody. Sorry for the shutdown, but we've been able to recover back. So we have the last presentation. Before we go to the last presentation, we have to say hello and say thank you to Joel. Thank you, Joel, and we can wave to him because we know you can clap for you, but we can just wave for you and say asante sana, asante kwa kazi yako. We are grateful as a team. So now back to Dr. Richard Omollo. I think he has already been able to log in. Maybe we can give you some time, you can take some 10 to 15 minutes so that we can open the floor and then we can wind up the meeting today. Thank you so much. Dr. Richard, are you here with us? Dr. Richard.
Okay, thank you so much, Secretary. Thank you, everybody. Sorry, I was unable to join the meeting the way I intended to because I had some power outages. In fact, even at this particular moment, I'm just using my phone. So I pray that I'll be excused for having gone against the flow of activities today. I believe I'm audible enough.
Yes, you can proceed.
Okay. Okay, thank you. Good afternoon, everybody. Today was a very important day. I've managed to follow Although I joined late, I managed to follow some of the presentation, and I can imagine what I might have missed in those moments that I was offline. Otherwise, I was scheduled to talk about research and role of universities for digital villages and communities. I think I've been introduced by the secretary, so I think that one actually goes well. Because I don't have a slide, so and also time has moved, I'll wish to pick some of the key stuff that are considered in my presentation, and then I shall also liaise with the secretary to be able to circulate whatever I have in store for today. I think that one will go well in spirit of sharing of resources in terms of the presentation that I had. Mine was a little bit brief, and this is how I would wish to flow it. University is a common term that has been known to us over time. University is a term that is known to us. It depends on how we might have been introduced to it. Some of us, we know it as a building. Some of us, we know as a place where programs are hosted. Some of us know it as a place where a student come to learn. And of course, also they have their professors to be able to give them knowledge. So it depends on how you look at it. But you'll find that the kind of perspective that somebody will have towards the university, most likely those who actually have an idea about it. But what about those who have no idea about it? What about those who have never experienced in terms of participating in an activity that involves university? What about those who have not been close to it physically? Because we know normally, especially in Kenya, universities are location bound. So if where you operate from is far away from where university is, most likely you may not have an idea about it. But now we have a living that has to benefit from an established relationship between the university and of course with our surrounding. So what about the village or the community? Communities is known as more of persons who might have come together for a common goal, or maybe they are identified by a common root in terms of lineage, in terms of settlement. There are some historical definition that try to describe a community. And once this community establish a presence in a particular locality, they activate what we call a village. Of course, villages are there. And in most cases, we consider village to be somewhere that is far off, somewhere which is isolated, has limited resources, have population that are saturated with low literacy or something like that. Sometimes that is how the village might be interpreted by some. Of course, it's actually changing, especially if that is the kind of perspective you want to give it, because you find that the literacy level in the so defined villages is actually improving because of more educational activities are activated in such kind of localities. Now, university basically have mandate that they are charged with. They build capacity. They also undertake research activities, and they are also expected to have new outreach activities that connect to the surrounding, to the people that are surround them, and even by extension, not necessarily within the closest vicinity, but of course surrounding within their area of operations. Now, when we talk of a village, convergence of persons going on with their activities, what is the key focus? when we consider village? Are we heavily defining a village by the people? Are we heavily defining a village by the resources? Are we heavily defining the village by activities? Or are we heavily considering a village in terms of opportunities? But you'll actually find that resources are utilized by people, and the utilization are driven by activities, and the activity are motivated by opportunities. So when you have resources that are utilized with proper activities that are motivated by proper opportunities, then we are actually talking of a quality village. And the reason why this thought is actually being advanced here is that we want to know how this kind of utilization can actually be made much better. We know communities have resources. We know communities have people. We know activities can be activated. Now, how does the university come on board to give this kind of support? One, university can build capacity of these people so that they have the ability to utilize the resources that activate activities that are motivated by opportunities. University may activate research activities that can still be able to drive activities that are centered towards utilizing resources that are residents in these villages that can take advantage of existing opportunities. Now, before I move into that, we have the community, we have the university. I think for those of us who operate within the country, you might be wondering, or maybe you might have not wondered, how the universities are named, for example. For example, why we have University of Nairobi and not Nairobi University? Why we have University of Eldoret, you know? But what actually, the point that I want to bring on board here, what make it more relevant? Is it the university in a community, in a village? Is this the university for the community or in the village? Is this the university with the community or the village? So when we talk about university in a community, basically we are referring to a location-bound approach where the university is the one that benefits because it's sits in the community. That is it. It finds itself there by design. It's there. But if you talk about university for the community, then it's moderately location-bound, but it scores the benefit that community get from the university. But when you talk about university with the community or with the village, then we actually, that is low location-based bound, but both of them are to benefit more. University in a community, community benefit the university. University for the community benefit from the university. The university with the community, both of them benefit because university gets support from the community also get support from the university. Now, we have a role to play as a university in terms of bringing more or alternative thinking, and this can be activated by research activity. Research is about fact-finding, and then the fact-finding get results that are digested, and then a better alternative thinking or schemes are promoted. And this can actually be plowed back into the community. And that is the role that needs to be strengthened so that there is a collaboration that exists within the universities and the communities that we talk about. Now, when we talk about digital village, or when we talk about digital communities, what are we referring to? Are we referring to automating the people, or automating the infrastructure, or automating the processes? What actually are we referring to? A better reference should be that the way of life, the lifestyle, not necessarily installation of infrastructure, that of course has been supported by many organizations. Some of them work together with ISOC, but it's the lifestyle, the vision that the village has. If they are married with the availability of these automation services, then we actually qualifying a digital village. Because once we have a digital village, it means even the lifestyle, even the communication, even the activities that the village are engaging are actually benefiting from these automation services. And this is where now the university can come in to provide robust capacity building to be able to strengthen the communities to benefit from this kind of opportunity. I want to cap it by talking about some of the key areas where collaboration can be. In fact, somebody actually said that university is the only institution that can accommodate anybody, whether literate or illiterate, because there is something that somebody can be somebody can benefit the university, and the university can benefit the person. I can recall in one of the university, if I'm allowed to not mention the name, but there used to be a botanist who appears to have been working with a herbalist before where he was. And this botanist knew most of the plants with their medicinal values. So it was actually contracted in one of the laboratories to be able to support persons who are conducting research on herbal medicine that is able to strengthen immunity. So this person, it appears that he wasn't learned. Learned, I mean, he did not attain a high education credential. Is somebody who probably tried the lower primary education, but he did not complete for one reason or the other. So he was actually limited in the language. Of course, he was actually good in Kiswahili. So this person was able to support researchers. And even there are researchers who used to come outside to be able to perform research activity. So this person was being seconded. What am I actually saying is that we, with the people, will be able to tap such kind of to be able to activate activities that can benefit a larger number of communities. I can give you an example for, it has been argued, and the argument has actually been proved. Like, I come from a community where there is a game called Ajua. Of course, Ajua is predominantly played in Africa. Central Africa is the Wari, West Africa is Oware. We have Ajua. Ajua is actually a calculated board game. But Ajua is actually played by some, there is some computational aspect of it. The playing of computation of Ajua has been tested to be able even to solve matrix problem. So what am I actually saying? You may actually find somebody who is quite polished in this kind of an activity, and then you find somebody who have an advantage of understanding algorithm, and he can be able to develop even better schemes that can benefit. Another third one, we have actually lived in an environment where there is a lot of cryptographic primitives that has been embedded in our way of communication. Like I come in a community where you can find, and it's common with youth, and even in urban settlement, we have a style-coded kind of a language that is normally adopted. You find people actually are communicating, and you realize that these people communicate in a language that even if you are sitting there, you'll not be able to understand. If such kind of pattern in terms of construction of wording can actually be interpreted, They can even help us to solve some of the major cryptographic issues that is still bedeviling data confidentiality. So what I'm actually trying to say is that the community has the resource, community has the people, community can support activities, communities have opportunities. Now, how did these opportunities be able to make the community relevant? Is when university come on board and be able to partner together with the community so that such kind of activities are be able to activate it to make the university, the villages or the communities to be more improved in terms of lifestyle. So I want to conclude by saying that there's a lot of collaborative activities that need to be ignited. Of course, there is a substantial effort that has been made by many universities to incorporate communities that are disadvantaged in terms of one way or the other. They have resources, but they may not be able to tap onto those resources. Of course, there are some of them, you find that the researchers are more academic. But of course, what is actually quite important here is that when the university come to activate, when the university is with the community, when the university is with the village, then it does not necessarily mean that it has to be the village or the community in which the university is actually established. Now, the last statement is, which is the way forward? What do we find ourselves and we label that as a more secure environment for qualifying a better village that is defined by activities that are geared towards exploiting opportunities? Digital villages goes far much beyond institutionalizing digital infrastructure, mounting application. Is actually now go towards even the paradigm shift, that even the way of thinking of which the village is actually able to uptake the technology that is provided to them will enable them to have a quality presence in wherever they are. Of course, some of the previous speakers has mentioned very important activities that have been mounted. Life is more transactional, and we realize that transactional activities are now mounted on digital devices, and is actually making life slightly better, because now people can perform transactions irrespective of where they are, because they have the ability to tap into a resource that enable them to interact with others irrespective of their locality. And that is the beauty of it. So management of information is actually brought closer to people. There is only need for elevating their literacy level to a way that the technology update can actually meet a standard that can be equivalent to the desired living standard of a particular village. Of course, I'm not citing the gap, but I'm actually providing an opportunity for us to come together, not necessarily as the university per se, but even us who are within the fold of the internet ecosystem, who know the benefit of it, to come together, bring a collaboration between the universities, the communities, the service providers, so that the human populace, the citizen, are able to benefit from this particular resource. My parting shot is, research is about investigation. Research is about finding better ways. Research is about activating innovative activities. What role do we play as a person? Before we talk of what role do we play as a corporate body of internet users as driven by the internet society as a body. Otherwise, fellow friends, I had something around that. I will be able to share the slide around it I will also be ready to capture observation, comment, contribution, question, whichever reaction that are associated with my talk. Thank you so much, Secretary. Thanks so much, listeners, for the opportunity. Bye.
Thank you, Dr. Richard Omollo. I think you summed it up so well. I don't want to mince your words, but you say that research is about investigation, innovation, and discovering more. So before we open up the floor, I just want us to acknowledge Dr. Richard Omollo wherever you are, just by a thumbs up, just by a wave, so that you can feel so good. Thank you so much. And thank you for all the presenters. I think we've remained with almost around 15 minutes to go. And this is the way I want us to go about it. I want to open up the floor for any questions. We can pick up the questions. Once you pick up the question, we shall have a round of response from each and every presenter, which will be 1 minute each. And then we shall have a closing remarks by the president. Thank you so much. So I'm opening up the floor. You can open your mic and ask a question or send and even just comment on what has been said today. Thank you. Anybody? Joseph Mungai, anybody? Joseph Kinyua, Nick, Peter, Saruni, Shalin, Maria, Dotanus, Constant, Eubinia. What do you think? Okay, we have Donatus. Wow. Donatus, you can speak.
Yes, thank you very much, Mr. President. I really applaud those of us who have made presentations.
It's the SG, sorry, not the president.
Thank you very much, SG. Thank you for that correction. Big applause to those who have made the presentation. That was very good. And even the last one is actually our colleague, Richard, Dr. Richard. I also have a feeling that the round table should give us maybe a summary or maybe as a parting shot, precisely or categorically as a mitigation plan to this problem that we want to try to solve, which is already in the discussion. The problem to do with when I just go back to, hello, can you hear me?
Yes, we can hear you. We can hear you.
Yes. When you talk about safe internet for our children, I just want to give my reflection and maybe my thoughts that probably because like myself, I had supported the Child Helpline International for about 3 years before I went to the academia. And one of the things I learned over there was that initiatives that could build capacity of those who are in the custodian of these children, or let me say parents and maybe caregivers of these children, were really wanting. So that's such kind of things, if we can do them right away, they really need to be supported. These initiatives that provide capacity building, because people do not know how to make sure that when kids are using gadgets, they are safe online. So I think that's my submission. And I just want to also just summarize by saying that we need to do more, because threats are metamorphosing every day, and those who are engineering these threats are also learning how the threats are being mitigated. So more of capacity building would really play a very big role in terms of sensitizing people who are in the custodian of these kids, to make sure that we are aware and we actually do what it takes to make sure that our digital spaces are secure. Thank you very much for now.
Thank you so much. Any other person? I can take 2 more, and then we can have a round of responses from the presenters. 2 more. Any other person? Joseph Kinyua, do you have anything? Any other person? Okay, because I can't get, we can just start from the round of responses. The way we started was Athena, then we have Armstrong, and then from Armstrong we had Enoch. From Enoch, oh, Joseph is here. Joseph is saying, wants to say something. Joseph?
Yes, hello. Yes, hello all, the exec and the presenters. I would like to thank everyone for the nice presentation, especially the presenters. It's really been an eye-opener for a safe internet that we want. And just to echo what the secretary said, Mr. Joel, that we really need to take vigilance, on safe internet. Being the theme for today's safe day of internet, being that it is together for a better internet, right? Hello.
We can get you. Just proceed. Just wind up, please.
Oh. Yeah. I was saying, I really want to thank everyone, the presenters, for the remarks they have made today, and we all know that there is actually celebrated with the aim of joining together to make the internet a safer and better place for all, and especially for the children and young people. I would like to highlight some of the things just to add on what the presenters have said on how to, tips just to stay safe online. They're really basic ones, but they're really paramount when really not observed. And I think we have seen this, we have said this over and over, and just for me, it's just reminder to everyone else that is here to kindly observe them. One is, to pick strong passwords whenever you are logging in or signing up for any online website or app or anything. And then be very cautionary on when browsing on public Wi-Fi's, and observe your email scams, right? Be very, again, cautionary when clicking on emails that they're not sure of, on links that sound or maybe appear to you as scamish. Again, the social engineers or the social hackers, they mainly actually take advantage of having access to your personal information. So I would really urge everyone to guard their personal information. Make sure you have double authentication. Nowadays we have the 2FAs almost in every app, and that protects any sensitive data of yours. So make sure that you enable the 2FAs just to make sure that you are safe and your data. Again, on many apps nowadays, maybe WhatsApp, maybe Instagram, the social accounts, the Twitter, we have the option to report, right? So if you experience maybe some kind of cyberbullying, or you see a comment that goes against a race, a tribal comments, I think it's really good to report that account. Of course, most cases it's usually anonymous, and if the remarks are wrong, basically the app administrators will actually take it up and basically block that account. So I think it's really good when everyone takes the initiative to try and do the right thing when you see something wrong that has been posted or has been connected. Again, this goes to now most of the people that go into the deep webs. I think it's paramount to use a VPN, a virtual private network, when you're really not sure about the public that you are in. Maybe let's say in your public Wi-Fi, in a metro, in a train or something that provides, or maybe just in the airport, and you see that there's a public Wi-Fi. I really think it's good to use a VPN, and this makes sure that your data can't be leaked, or maybe your location isn't observed when you're browsing online, right? Basically, that's from me. And one thing to say as a finish is that, I mean, making a safe internet for everyone, I think it requires trust, as Joel had said, and constant vigilance. So I'm really happy that we are taking this initiative as Kenya and in the whole world to make sure that the internet is safe for everyone and all of us, because otherwise it would be so much inconveniencing if we don't have it. And at the same time, of course, there must be bad apples everywhere. So I think it's really up to us, the advocacies, and for us to push policies that put in place measures for everyone to have a safe internet. Thank you.
Thank you so much, Joseph Mungai. Joseph Kinyua, you had something to say so that we can wind up and get 1 minute wind up. Oh, that is still Joseph Mungai. Okay, so no problem. Thank you. Now, Athena, to you, so that we can have the sequence the way you guys presented and respond, and we'll have a closing remarks. Thank you.
Thank you so much, Hawi. And thank you to all our able facilitators. This was a very insightful session. I have also noted down a few things that I need to work on also on my end. And I hope we continue working together. As has been said in the remarks, we still need to remain vigilant. Since there was no question, I agree that it's not enough to just have the security measures set up. We also need to be constantly aware, as I'd said, and keep educating ourselves on new threats and new ways to protect ourselves. At the end of the day, technology is dynamic, it's not static. So we cannot even use last year's solution to solve problems that arise this year. So we have a big responsibility on our plates, and there is no one shoe that fits all. So with every unique challenge that comes up, we're supposed to be able to come up with solutions that can address it, and even maybe come up with a system that can foresee future challenges and come up with measures to counter them before they even arise. I don't know if that's possible, but maybe it's something we can look into. Other than that, I don't want to take any more time. Thank you so much, Hawi and the Internet Society, for organizing this. I saw also Jolly was with us. I really appreciate. I am here to work with any of you on online safety. In case you need me, you can always reach out. I'm very open. Campus trainings, I do them, corporates, and even training for children and children caregivers from a legal and a soft skills perspective. Thank you so much.
Thank you, you are still Madam President. We can still verify you. So thank you so much. Armstrong. You can unmute, please unmute.
I was just saying, I've taken in a lot. It's just a matter of taking in and receiving, giving out and giving in, but I've taken in a lot. And I can say I'm really, really happy with this. And I think it's now, the rubber must hit the road so that we can be able to move further. Thanks so much.
Thank you, Mr. Onyango. Thank you so much. That's my brother. Anyway, for people who don't know, and I think it's important to acknowledge that. Enock, Chiteri.
Yes, how are you?
We are fine, Enock.
I have equally gathered a lot from today's webinar. There's a wealth of experience and knowledge out here. I think it's important for people like me to tap on from that wealth of knowledge, and I'll be following up on some of those specific sessions. I just want to say that from the perspective of the young people and maybe looking at the children growing from our villages and communities, it's important to all of us work together to achieve a safe space for everyone, but beginning with the children. I tend to believe that if children and the young people grow up believing and seeing that the internet and the digital space is corrupted, is evil, is surrounded by all sorts of negative impact, they'll normalize this and it might turn out to be a dangerous world in future. But if they grow believing and seeing that the environment has been sanitized for them to grow with the digital, with the advancement of technology, to use it productively, to engage and to make income and a better society for all, then they'll normalize that too. So it's a choice that stakeholders need to make on what kind of space do we intend to build? How do we intend to build it? Do we want to make it productive? Because internet has been a blessing, digital space has been a blessing, and it can only be, we can only further that blessing if we regulate this space and normalize making it a better space for all to use. If we can prevent abuses of the internet, you can prevent stalking, cyber theft, you can prevent conning and all those things that come with the internet use, and instead make sharing of information, making learning possible, making gathering good content possible, making young people earn and appreciate the digital space, then that is exactly what the future will look like. I think it takes a lot of us, a lot from us to make that happen. Otherwise, as perspective of the young people and building from this end, I think we still require a lot of collaboration, support, and consultation towards making our villages smart and better spaces. I appreciate all the presentation, and I thank the society and Yeetu for considering us to be part of this particular process. Thank you.
Thank you, Enock, and thank you for the joining us and also giving up the perspective, especially from the localized level, and our young people are working on together with Kijiji. So I move to Megan. Then from Megan, we'll move to Dr. Richard, and then Joel, and then the president.
Thank you, Hawi.
Okay, thank you.
I'm saying, Dr. I'm saying that we start with Megan and then we'll move to you.
Sorry for that, sorry.
Okay, thank you.
Thank you, Hawi. Mine will be a rallying call to everyone to participate with other civil society organizations when they are championing for certain digital rights and safety in the internet, when there are laws that are passed, when there are calls for submission of comments to certain pieces of legislation. Mine will be to encourage everyone to participate in these calls for submissions, and as a civil society to also collaborate with other civil society organizations working in the internet space. Thank you.
Thank you. Before we go to Dr. Let's have Albert Migowa, and then Dr. Richard Omollo, and then we have the second. Sorry for that mismatch.
It's okay. For me, mine is to, first of all, I'd like to thank all the presenters for their presentation. It was very insightful. My hope is that we'll be able to pick up from what we've learned and actually implement. On my part, I'd like to emphasize the need for each and every one of us to be very aware of how we are feeling at every one given time, even away from issues around digital space. Remember, self-care is very key. So I'll advocate each and every one of us to take some time out and take care of your well-being, your emotional and psychological well-being. Thank you.
Thank you, Albert. And I know you've done a lot of work, especially for the Kitui case, where those people were able to drown. And I know one day you'll also be able to tell us your experience. So I'm able to now move to Dr. Richard Omollo.
Okay, thank you, SG. I'm sorry for that mismatch. I didn't get it correctly, but thanks for that correction. Good afternoon, everybody. This is a privileged moment that need to be supported more because whenever we converge together, we marry our perspective in terms of digesting our environment, and whatever available opportunities that are there. Going by the presentation that has been offered, even though I clocked in late, I know they were quite utility and they can be of value if we tap into them and we enable benefits comes out of them. What I can say, in all those presentations, I know there is an element of research. In all those presentations, I know there is an element of carrying out investigation, getting new discoveries, and of course also proposing alternative ways of approaching some of the findings. And one which is actually captures my mind, the area that former president, I think she has really done a lot of work because he can easily understand about the children's rights, especially when it comes to their loneliness. With the coming of COVID-19, there's a lot of interest that has been activated on the online. Majorly, even the young ones have been has been encouraged to utilize internet resource for educational activities, but we may not know exactly to what depth they may be involved. You know, the internet is a whole pool of stuff, and you just need to command your keyboard and your mouse so that they can cooperate to get for you what you want. So I think also that is an area that still need more investigation to find out exactly what these children are doing. And of course, with collaboration with the expertise of the likes of my brother who's talking about emotional intelligence and the stuff, I think new revelation can actually be we found. And of course, with persons who have lots of personal interest in encryption, even alternative ways can be discovered to enable this particular information are presented in a way that some of them may not be available to a particular age of our children. Otherwise, what I will like to cap it is that we still need more investigation. We need to be involved. In fact, investigation has no defined expertise for somebody to participate. Any person in any interest has the ability and has a responsibility to participate in research. As an internet society, we give it a focus, a very serious focus to investigation, because that is the best way we can actually interpret even the utilization of internet as a resource by the community of which we are trying to make them aware. Security is the key thing. People talk about security. Of course, security has been something that has been with us for a long time. In fact, each and every of us might be coming from a room or a house or a village or a home that as wherever we are, if you're away from it, there's high chances that you manage to lock those rooms without even having prior experience, without even having knowledge of any kind of intrusive activity. But just by the fact that you are conscious that in any vulnerable opportunity can be taken advantage of. The same thing also happened with our data, which has actually been migrated onto the cyberspace. There's a lot of security schemes that are still needed, in which we can participate at whatever level that we invest our effort. Otherwise, think for this kind of arrangement, this convergence session is good. We are actually able to learn more, and actually we are looking for more opportunity that we may come together so that we learn from each other. Otherwise, think so much, all the presenters, the conveners, the participants, and everybody who formed the success of this particular session. Thank you so much. Bye.
Thank you, Dr. Before I allow Joel and the president to come in so that I can say my final words, say thank you everybody for the efforts. I just need to propose 2 people who can be able to put these presentations into a paper. And I just need to have volunteers. Like I feel like Dr. Richard, because you're doing a lot of work on research, you'll be key instrumental, and Falme and Athena also, you can join in so that we can have a paper maybe in the course of 1 or 2 weeks. So for me, that's something that I feel that is important for us so that we can have a product. So thank you so much. Thank you, members. Thank you, everybody, all the organizations that have participated in this. Thank you. And I hand over to Joel. Thank you so much. And then President. Joel? Joel, to you, Joel.
Okay, thanks so much. Thank you, Hawi, and thanks for hosting us. I think this national forum needs to be taken forward. I do not know what will happen after this, but I think once the paper is done, we'll definitely be able to advance this a little further. As I mentioned earlier, there's a lot of opportunity around internet governance, encryption, and also building trust. And if you look at the message running across all the speakers today, you'll find that we are looking at the other person and also looking at yourself through the internet. And this is something that we can continue to work on and develop ideas. On the slides, I'm sure we can be able to find one area or 2, you know, that we can propose something and get some work done. At the end of the year, these are the things we want to count. We want to see after the February meeting, what followed. Probably we had a project in Masai or Ugunja or Mombasa and so on. This is the kind of thing we want to, the action we want to document by the end of the year. So thank you all. Thank you, Mr. President, for gracing this event. And for those who have not spoken, I think they should get a chance to also say hello so we can hear their voices and probably see their faces. Thank you so much. God bless.
Thank you so much, Treasurer. So I think they'll be able to show their face next time. I want to hand over to Dr. Tarus, who is our president, to wind up so that by 1:20 we are through with this. Thank you so much.
So thank you, Hawi, for this opportunity. Once again, so colleagues, we have come to the end of the 2022 Safer Internet Day webinar that was organized by ISOC Kenya chapter and Kijiji Yeetu. So let me thank organizers and all the presenters for their inspiring, insightful presentations on safer internet and digital villages. What I can say is that your speeches were amazing. So thank you very much. I believe the speeches from our presenters inspired you to make a change, because a better and secure internet starts with all of us. Change begins with you and I. I also believe each one of us has a take-home message from those wonderful, rich presentations. So thank you, participants, for your participation, your patience, and input in this conversation on safer internet. Without you, this webinar wouldn't have been a success. And after this webinar, let us continue with the conversation and advocacy for a safer, secure internet among the young people and the entire communities. Remember, our slogan today was together for a better internet. So thank you very much once again for attending this webinar. We can clap for ourselves. God bless you and enjoy the rest of the day. So I hand back to you, Hawi.
Thank you so much. If there's anybody who wants to pray for us, thank you so much. We can feel touched. You can pray for us and then we close the meeting. Anybody? And before I wind up, there is also one person who is behind the scenes, and it's Joel. Joel has been able to put this effort through the ISOC live. We thank you, Joel, for being with us, being in the mic, the background. I know you cannot be able to speak with your mic. Thank you so much, Joel. So anybody who can pray for us as we wind up. Or we can pray wherever we are. The meeting is closed. Thank you so much. God bless you all. And thank you on behalf of the Internet Society and Kijiji and the partners also here. Thank you so much. Bye for today. Thank you.
Thank you so much. Bye, everybody.